Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Drew here. Today we are back for another Warhammer 40k reaction. Today we're going to be checking out what is Warhammer 40k Timeline of 40k Lore by Bricky. Now, of course, check out Bricky because I'm sure you guys all know him, but, make sure you subscribe to him because he really put in all the work in this video. I'm just reacting, gaining the information, checking out the 40k universe because it's something I've grown interested in over the last 3 videos we checked out. I've also made a little playlist for those of you who want to check that out and check out my other reaction to Bricky videos. It's been super fun learning about the universe. Mind you, if this is your first video on the channel about my Warhammer content, you will probably be a little bit annoyed because I thought it was about the game, the video game at first, but it is about the tabletop game, which I'm assuming this video is about as well. But you know me, I'm trying not to assume and just gather the information. But hey, if you're new to the channel, please do make sure to like and subscribe. Support the Patreon down below if you want. If not, that's all good. The content will keep coming nonetheless. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Of the 41st millennium exists the Empire of Man, a backwards carcass of an empire comprised of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly heavily armored women, most likely with sweltering abs. And one must know what those abs taste like.
Whoa! He's his new cup. Yeah, he talked about this in the last video. Alright.
Begun.
We sat through his ad in the last video. Not this one, sorry. Sorry, Bricky.
Roughly 60 million years ago, there existed aliens. And these aliens lived short, painful lives. They belonged to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. I don't know if we know about them. These aliens, the Necron tier, looked up to the stars and found extreme beings of real power. Beings with the ability to create life. The old ones of
Are these like the
galaxy.
Egyptian ones
They
or no?
asked these old ones for help. Please cure us of our ailments. To which the old ones said, piss off.
Damn.
So the Necron tier gathered together and did the sensible thing. They declared war upon these old beings and were prompted.
Okay, so these are like the we actually learned about them in one of the other videos, but I'm interested to see the full story in chronological order. But yeah,
beaten into the dirt, back to their short, painful lives.
I don't know how they thought they would win that, by the way.
There is a hell. This hell is not like you and I know it. It's more of an afterlife, a place where dead souls end up.
Cue the Mario 64 music.
Names: the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterium, and the Ether. But mostly, we just call it the Warp.
Okay, that is the Warp.
Know of hell as a place of horrors and punishment. The Warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy, but the kind of energy formed from thought and soul, psychic energy, where the dead souls of people end up.
That could be just as dark.
Impossible to understand.
That could be just as dark.
No laws of reality exist. Like, time is merely a suggestion, and it is not something that can be braved easily. The Warp would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat could drive a man mad. And there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths. Yet, the sea is not evil. It simply is.
It's everything, right?
There are more malevolent beings in those waters, areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos. The realm of chaos exists in the Warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods. Khorne, the god of combat.
Okay, we know them. We don't know the gods.
With a pile of skulls taken in his name. Tzeentch,
I feel like I should have watched this video first.
Mystery and deceit. A confusing paradox of lies, schemes, and sorceries.
Yeah, Tzeentch is like a weird one.
God of rot.
Nurgle is my least favorite god.
Impact. All things rot in the end. And Grandfather Nurgle is waiting for you with open arms. These gods ruled their respective realm in the Warp, sending their many followers against each other in the Great Game.
I'm guessing he's not gonna bring up the female god. I freaking somehow forgot her name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Whatever. But wasn't she formed later?
Of all the gods. So the Warp real, parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space, gods of the normal world too. They're called Catan, and they eat stars.
You think
not me.
God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
These star gods saw the plight of our poor Necron tier and how the old ones cast them aside and said, you know what? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure.
Oh yeah, they tricked them.
So then they ate all their souls.
Yeah, I seen that.
And turned them into robotic automatons, feasting on their souls and leaving a hollow shell of an intelligence left that is technically immortal. With the power of an entire species' souls, they turned their...
That's hilarious. So in the end, they technically got what they wanted, but hey, you know what they say, be careful what you wish for.
Slaves on the old ones.
That is hilarious,
hunted them to extinction. The Necron tier, now the soulless, undying Necrons, got their wish at the price of their souls.
Yeah. Hi. Bro, you're gonna hit me with ads like this?
The number of kind gods on an amputated hand. With time, the selfish star gods turned on each other, fighting one another for more chances at glory and power. With this, the leader of the Necrons, Zarek, the Silent King, the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal, waited, planned, bide his time until he seized the perfect moment and turned his legions of undead citizens against the star gods. Gods cannot be killed, but they can be broken. So Zarek broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them away as basically Pokemon to be used as weapons.
It's funny because I technically know this whole arc because of, you know, context from all the other videos.
Zarek then, with his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies to atone for what he had done. This entire situation, the genocide of the Old Ones and the rebellion of Zarek, will go down in history as the War in Heaven.
The War in Heaven. That is a cool war name.
The galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods.
My apologies if the video just lagged. I don't know how that happened, but it did.
8 stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the War in Heaven, decide to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on various planets until the upstart species of the galaxy died out. And so turns out, when you have a war that lasts tens, hundreds of thousands of years and involves the genociding of multiple species, the old ones of the galaxy, and the consumption of souls from an entire race, the warp gets a little wacky. You know, if you had a kiddie pool and it was nice and calm, Khorne is over there splashing about, so you don't really go in that direction. Nurgle has explosive diarrhea, so you don't really go in that direction either. But you can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine. Turns out, when you add a couple trillion souls to that
everyone's
pool,
going in.
It'll make the waves a little more turbulent. And turns out, a lot of them like to pick a side. Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Khorne. So the once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool, has now been bloated. 1,000,000 years of war will certainly make Khorne, god of murder and slaughter, more powerful. 1,000,000 years of war will probably make Tzeentch, god of deception and change, a little more powerful. And good God, 1,000,000 years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, just the tiniest bit more powerful.
Most definitely.
Now, entering that kiddie pool is no longer fun, it's dangerous. The warp is now a problem. Hell is resembling hell a lot closer to what we imagined it originally. The Sea of Souls and the Realm of Chaos are now intertwined. So who else to brave the galaxy than a species that won't need to deal with that?
What? The Age of the Eldar. Oh, we know the Eldar.
Are space elves. They have a lot of the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves.
I remember them
slender, pointy ears, bit more androgynous.
Didn't they become like the perfect species?
And a bit stronger on the emotional side. The old ones,
yeah, let them emotions flow,
create
dog.
life. And when they were getting, you know, absolutely bodied by the Catan and the Necrons, they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway. Oh, and also the Orcs.
They're here, just chilling.
They're busy right now.
W Orcs. W Orcs, guys. Yeah. The Orcs are a legendary.
The Eldar are a particularly psychically powerful race. So they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons. Hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called being a psyker. And basically, if you want to do cool wizard shit like lightning from your hands or reading someone's mind, you can do that, but you siphon the energy to do that from the warp. Luckily, the Eldar are very good at handling this without too many negative effects because, you know, summoning power from the sea.
Yeah, essentially hell would probably be pretty
with
dangerous.
The new Chaos friends can be a bit of an issue.
If I were to guess.
Pretty good at it. And you see, what's really cool and also awful about Warhammer is that most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going
into the
through that warp. They create a tear in reality to unreality and move through it. Faster
Can I say that's just so interesting that how that works?
We go through hell itself to deliver your packages. For those of you who play Minecraft, you know how the Nether is like a pocket dimension, so moving 10 space.
Sorry to friggin', you know, cut him off, but god damn, being an Amazon or a UPS driver in a Warhammer universe would suck, bro.
In the Nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's basically what warp travel is. Just much like in the Nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar find a way to do so in between realities. Not regular reality, not the warp, something else. A purgatory of sorts. A fabricated psychic realm that allowed them to travel without fearing the negative effects of the warp.
Gotcha. Yeah, we knew about this, but we didn't know too much.
Fit for the new
galaxy.
galaxy.
The web way.
And they took it with open arms and pointy ears. The empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread all the way until now. The 21st century.
Really?
That's right. While you were watching NPC streams on TikTok, the space elves were ruling the galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time. The 21st century came and went. Humanity grew and grew, all under the nose of their elf overlords. At this time, humans advanced, your classic sci-fi style way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system, terraformed our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships. All the things humans do, also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here, was here. And existed between the 21st century all the way until the 15th millennia. Not much is known about this time. Not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up, saw the stars. It's classic. Then came the years between 15,000 and 25,000, the age of technology, or to some, the dark age of technology. This is when humanity reached a new apex of technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, maybe Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian. The age of technology was deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess that fringed on magic. This is also when the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity. Individuals with the genetic mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy. They equipped ships with gigantic AI machines, with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy. And this was truly the golden age of humanity. And with every golden age
comes a fall.
There is a fall. While the new human upstarts of the galaxy were reaching new levels of technology and prowess, the Eldar
we're not in a
were
golden age
engaging
right now.
Debauchery! What happens?
Yeah, the downfall is crazy.
When a species has everything. You can produce unlimited food out of nothing. Your need for farmers and workers, gone. You have dominated the stars and have created a fast travel system that
you
doesn't
go
rely on
downhill.
the dangers of the warp. You have nothing else to do. You have no struggles, no problems, and feel as if there is nowhere else to go.
We become
You begin to
influencers.
experiment. The Eldar started harmless enough. You know, you take a serious interest in your species' culture, your
Okay.
arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves.
Yeah.
Remember? Their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on the limits of your hearing ability. Your music becomes different, more deranged. It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes more bizarre, more delusional, more eccentric.
Essentially, life becomes a drug trip.
And let's
This
not
is what
forget
I'm getting
a
from
very
this.
important sense. Touch. Pornography is one thing. Brothels is another. What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if those became more deranged?
Dude, these
the
are some
boundaries
freaky
of
images.
debauchery were not just met, but shattered. Next thing you know, murder is commonplace and often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain
Oh, God.
is a common byproduct of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased, must be enhanced, must be taken.
It's going a little more in depth
Eldar
into this.
Empire
I didn't know they got this
slipped
bad.
into a nightmarish realm of debauchery and excess, with the worst of it taking place in a city in the webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous acts known as Kamara. Some
black
Eldar
market,
saw the
no.
writing on the wall, saw what was happening to their species and how far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized starships called craft worlds and left
I remember
their
this.
empire, seeking
And that's how
a
they
more
survive,
enlightened,
right?
calmer existence among their peers. Some, those in Kamara, pushed it to even greater heights,
Jeez.
relishing the pain and torment they inflicted on those around them. All
That's
during
terrible.
this, the warp, the yin to the yang of the world, was fed by these emotions, by the psychic power of the Eldar,
thus
by the
creating a new
souls
god,
taken in
right?
These depraved acts on a galactic scale. And just like that, Eldar ended. Slanesh, the fourth chaos god, was birthed into existence and consumed the souls of 90% of the Eldar.
Damn, dude.
Those
Slanesh
that
is so
fled
cold for
were
that.
spared the worst of it, and those in the webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts.
Dude, honestly, the more like I think about Slanesh, she's actually kind of cool because like she's literally created from a freaking species that is just like so terrible, became so terrible that it created a god. And then she was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm a god. You're all dead." And then oh yeah, we know the heinous crimes these folk do. And then it's kind of cool that some of them got away on that ship and they're creating, a little civilization, but they're dying out essentially. Also, I gotta say, I'm proud of myself because I pretty much have retained a lot of information like from this. Like, I pretty much know everything so far. So I'm actually kind of proud of myself.
of torture and violence. But for the majority
Usually my memory's
of the Eldar,
terrible, but
their empire died with Slanesh's birth.
Yeah, the story is
fourth
I know it.
chaos god. She who thirsts, the god of unspeakable excess of pleasure, pain, hedonism, and perfection, had been born. With the fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity. Slanesh's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy, making travel between star systems impossible. Coupled with a huge classic AI rebellion, as a staple in these sci-fi settings, humanity began to suffer the Age of Strife. Now, planets that relied on intergalactic travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages, normally sent through the warp, were snuffed out. If you were a planet that was great at mining stuff, but couldn't get food, well, you know that movie about the rugby players in the mountains? Oh, and because of these...
Okay, now I'm actually getting some new info. So is that why, like, some planets got wiped out?
Insane warp storms and fluctuations, psychers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them hunted down as witches, because that's pretty common in this setting, but some deemed it right to protect them. Unfortunately for those people,
wouldn't you want to protect them because they have access to the warp?
Open a gateway to the warp.
Why?
Don't really know how to use their powers well, and they kind of attract demons who then force their way through the Psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population.
Now I see why people think they're witches.
The Age of Strife was a catastrophic period of time for humanity.
I see the vision there.
Back their progress tenfold over the not 1, not 2, but 5,000-year period. During this time, the age of humanity that we know began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from alien
and crazy how that invaders.
Happened. Over 5,000 years, this became a custom and
like,
tradition.
Hey, we gonna be robots now.
As night worlds, a feudal society of honor-bound knights and gigantic robots that uphold the chivalric code to defend their worlds and a group of individuals on Mars after radioactively bombing their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire lives underground on the few life support systems keeping them alive. Those technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from skilled members of society to full-blown priests. The cult Mechanicus, or tech priests of Mars, formed in the ashes of the Red Planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And on Earth, or Terra, techno-barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max
the machine god works though.
Gore, until finally, a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace. His name was the Emperor. He deemed himself the Emperor of mankind. Where did he?
Okay. I didn't know he just came into history like that. Like I kind of thought he was like the age-old person. No, he's like
come from? I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful psyker of all of mankind? I don't know. Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go? Who knows? But he's here, and he isn't happy with
I didn't know he just appeared like that.
Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner. With blood. Then, after taking over Earth, he reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where we get the Imperium of Man, also known as the Imperium. The new faction headed by the Emperor of Mankind with a treaty signed with the cult Mechanicus on Mars to spread out and reunite humanity after the catastrophic Age of Strife. But first, the Emperor is going to need some smaller versions of himself. 20 of them. 18 of them. I meant gene-crafted sons of the strongest human to ever live.
Okay, I like Bricky's humor most of the time, but when he says like 18 to 20, why does he do that? I think it's supposed to be a joke with the gun getting pointed at his head. Probably shouldn't do that because YouTube, but you know,
all of them possess unparalleled
since I'm new, I don't get that joke.
Intelligence, formidable strength and size, a real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's like throwing the baby like a basketball. That's about what happened. The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy at a whim.
Oh wow, so they all ended up in different places?
A galactic game of keep away. So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins the Great Crusade. A crusade across the stars to reunite not just humanity, but the Emperor with his fallen sons. The first to be found was Horus. One of the strongest and most noble sons. The Emperor carried with him a legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines. For Horus, his were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued on his Great Crusade, he found more and more of his sons, reuniting them with their individual Space Marine legions. Leman Russ, the cunning hunter with the Space Wolves. Rogel Dorm, the Phalanx with the Imperial Fists. Angron, the Barbarian, the very angry with his World Eaters. Fulgur, the Perfect with his Emperor's.
I low-key didn't know, like, I didn't know Angron was like his, I didn't know Angron was one of his sons. It's kind of, okay, Yeah. These are actually connecting dots for me. This video is actually connecting dots for me.
Children and Jagatai
So wow,
Khan,
most
the
of the leaders
Swift, the
of all
Stoic,
these
and his white
groups
scars.
are
Those
sons.
were just some of the 18.
Right.
And one by one, his lost Primarch sons were returned to him, and their Space Marine legions returned to them.
Explains why their leaders are as powerful
saw
as shit, 'cause
humanity
there's the
once
Emperor's
again
sons.
reconquer the stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium and killing any and all who stood against their noble crusade. But in the years of the 31st millennia, treachery would break this all apart.
Horus.
Horus, the Emperor's most beloved and favored sons, named War Master for the Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos and daddy issues, all because of that bastard Erebus. Yo, fuck Erebus. Slowly, Horus would become corrupted, turning the Emperor's sons against him. This begins the most pivotal moment in our story, and the one that has like 50 books written about it.
Damn.
The Horus Heresy. 9 of the 18 Primarchs turned against the Emperor.
I did not know Warhammer had books.
The following years were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was working on a special webway project, just like the Eldar, to make faster-than-light travel significantly easier and safer. Really improve humanity to allow them to conquer the stars
Emperor was just
without
working.
the risk of the warp. Well, this big red idiot named Magnus kind of blew a hole into that. Literally and figuratively. So Big E over there is stuck on a gigantic golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and powering the Astronomicon. Basically a big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them navigate. The Horus Heresy saw many loyalist and traitor legions pitted against each other in a bloody war until it reached Terra itself. Horus, unable to break through the lines and with time running out, made a gambit and opened his ship up to be boarded. The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing someone else to take control of the throne as he teleported his way onto Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor, unable to truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick when Horus strangled the life out of his other son, Sanguinius.
Oh, damn.
I'm sure you've seen this image at some point. The Emperor then said,
yeah, I've seen that image. At first, for some reason, I thought Horus actually killed the Emperor, but then it hit my mind that doesn't the Emperor, like, sit on his throne, and he needs, like, 1,000 souls a day to keep the warp and stuff running and keep him alive? Something like that. So I was like, I thought I remembered Horus killing him, but no, Horus did that. Horus did that.
And proceeded to psychically blast Horus into complete oblivion,
yeah,
killing not
Horus,
only his body, but also his soul. Horribly wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay.
The Emperor got aura, bro.
The Astronomicon, because without it, humanity would be flying blind. There he sits, slowly dying from his wounds and the strain of powering the Golden Throne. The only thing keeping him alive is feeding upon the souls of 1,000 psychers every single day.
That is insane, dude.
Was 10,000 years ago. We are now in the 41st millennium, modern day. Warhammer 40,000.
That, I didn't know it was called that for like that reason. It's literally it's literally 40,000 like years. Okay.
Remains on
I didn't know that.
Throne. The Imperium is a rotting carcass of an empire, a fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a deity despite him never wanting to be seen as a god. Over the span of 1 million worlds, the ecclesiarchy, the church of the Emperor, is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled power root out any sign of heresy or lack of devotion to their god Emperor. The other half of the traitor legions move about as Chaos Space Marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium, while the loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive. All throughout this, they must endure Orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and the Great...
my thing is like, do they really need to like protect the Emperor? Do people want the Emperor dead? Because once the Emperor dies, doesn't all warp traveling stop? Which pretty much everybody needs.
Devourer, the newest tyrannid threat from the darkness between galaxies that has arrived to feast on their
the tyrannid wanting him dead because they're just like freaking aliens.
The theme of Warhammer 40,000 is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own failings. Culture, the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance, the simple possibility that alien life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head. There is no time for these things. All there is time for is worship of the God Emperor and a million wars to be fought. To be a human in the 41st millennia is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence, to be one of trillions of other humans across a million worlds throughout the galaxy. A galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place where lack of devotion is met with death. And if you even have devotion, there is a good chance the threats to the galaxy, chaos, and aliens will kill you anyway. Warhammer is a world where you revel in being bad. There are protagonists, there are antagonists, but every faction is some shade of evil. Because playing the bad guys is always more fun. And my friend, you have a selection. So pick up that las gun soldier. You and the other 3 million men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy.
Ain't that crazy?
Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die. For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
All it is war, man. And hence the name. Hence the name. Woo! I think he's gonna do a little outro now. So yeah, I'm gonna end my video. Well, guys, surprisingly, I knew most of that just off the other 2 videos. Other 3 videos. I watched 3. So yeah, I knew most of that except for, like, you know, learned some new things about the Emperor, and the lateral half of the video was new stuff for me. Because, you know, he did like a full thing on the gods and all that, and went in on the earlier freaking lore and some of the other videos. So yeah, that was a cool checkout, guys. Hey, leave me down below some more suggestions for Warhammer videos down below. Like and subscribe, check out Bricky, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.